Hello, everyone. Appreciate you attending our session. My name is Erik Nemes. I'm head of distributor relationships and payment systems for Sense and Laundroworks. So we're going to interview Mike Hand from Alliance. So Mike, if you want to just give a quick introduction of yourself, maybe some of your background and Alliance in general, and then we'll cover some more, industry specific topics.
Sure. Thanks, Eric. My name is Mike Hand. I'm the Vice President of North America Commercial, Central and East. 31 years in the laundry industry, 95% of it on the distribution side. Worked for a local distributor in Columbus, Ohio for the first 24 years. Spent 5 years in Texas helping to do a startup, and then now with Alliance for the last almost 6 years here. Always affiliated with Alliance products through distributors that I've worked for or ran.
Awesome. Well, Mike, I appreciate you joining us. We were just talking about how busy everything has been. So, we'll try to keep this informational for everyone, but just had a few questions to run through about, Alliance and how you help out operators and investors. So we know with Alliance, you guys have a 95% success rate with your laundromat locations. For you guys, what are some of the core demographic criteria that you look at to try to predict that success?
Yeah, I think, it's in addition to demographics. So you always look for number of renters, median household incomes, traffic patterns. But in addition to that, part of our success and laundry owner success is built upon the fact that working through our distributor network. I think our distributor network doesn't get enough credit for what they do. Alliance, gets that 95% rate, but we couldn't do it without our two-step distribution as well as our company-owned distributors.
Yeah, and working with distributors, the local distributors daily, I can attest. They know their market, they're smart, they know what works. So they've been a great resource for us and also their investors and customers to help them grow. Some of the other things that I know we've talked about in the past with demographics, looking at the infrastructure, competitive positioning. What is Alliance's process to kind of evaluate the different core principles to help lead to that success?
Yeah, I'm gonna sound like a broken record. Distributors. We look at demographics, we look at pro formas, we look at trends in the market. All these things we couldn't do without a distributor. It's, in my opinion, 31 years of doing this, it's the most important piece is to partner yourself with somebody who's got intimate knowledge of the local market where you're looking to build your store. We can put spreadsheets together. We can pull demographics. We can look at everything. The one thing we don't know, Alliance, without local representation, is what are those trends? Is this market coming back up? Has it been down? Things like that, Eric.
Yeah, and I think I'm fairly new to the industry, but it was pretty eye-opening for me talking to distributors in Boston and California, and it's just different. The industry is just different. So having that local team that knows the market is absolutely key. We've talked a lot about success, but we know mistakes happen as well. So, what are some of the more common mistakes when you're doing site selection that you see operators make? And, what are some processes you have to try to mitigate those or get ahead of them?
I think common mistake is picking the wrong location, right? Location is really important in our industry. Folks have picked locations that, may be a lower investment to get in, cheaper rents. The neighborhood's just too bad. It won't support a laundry. The neighborhood's, too high net worth. It won't support a laundry. I think the number one location that people make the number one mistake that people make when in a bad laundry is finding the wrong location. It's the number one. It would be my biggest. I was just talking to the gentleman in the back of the room, and he asked, new guy coming into this, what's the best advice you can give me? Find the right location, partner with the right distributor who knows your market, because like you said, every market is different.
Yeah, and when it comes to finding that right location, like what are some non-negotiable requirements that you guys are looking for to help dictate that it's going to work and it's going to be successful for your customers?
Yeah, I mean, I think it, it's population, it's renters, it's fair market value for that. It's the length of the lease. It's you know, is there public transportation coming down? Do you have like businesses? Are there, you know, rooftops all over that are 60% renters, and 60% high, but the demographic of the laundry owner or the laundry users changed a lot too. As you look at it, the most valuable asset we have as human beings is time. So the days of you know people using a laundry who didn't have their own laundry, it's no longer that. It's also people who want some of their time back. That's why you see wash, dry, fold, pick up, delivery, and those things. So these are all things. Is the when you look for a location, what's your business plan? What do you want to be part of? Is it wash, dry, fold? Is it pick up, delivery? And partner or partner with the right distributor to find a location that fits what you're trying to do, because the demographic of the laundry owner is 31 years of doing it. When I first came into the business, it was small laundries providing a service for, you know, uh, communities where they were maybe not as well off as others. Today, it's big laundries, higher population, higher income levels. So it's whatever your business plan is, partner with the right person and determine to pick that location. Yeah, I think competition is healthy, right? But there is such thing as bad competition. I would never recommend somebody putting a laundry next to somebody or across the street from somebody, right? There is a there's enough business for everybody, but there's good business and bad business. And I always, I like, it depends on the market too. So, New York City, there's one on every corner. Columbus, Ohio, where I live, there isn't. The 2.5, 3 mile radius. Competition is tricky. We utilize our Finco team heavily when it comes to competition, because we're we get one crack at it, right? And if we do it wrong the first time, we don't get a second, third, and fourth. We have a finance department that will run everything, create a narrative, and they'll look and see if there is enough business in that market. So there's good competition, there's bad competition. There's a lot of old stores that need retooled. Um, People still go to them. That shows you that there is a need for a laundry in that market, right? Not necessarily right next door, but in proximity. So I think that you know the reality is competition is good, competition is healthy, but it's got to be the right location. It all goes back to location. It all goes back, and I sound like a broken record, but it goes back to location and distribution, or somebody who knows that market to find you the right spot. We don't want to build stores on top of stores. We don't Saturation isn't good for any laundry owner. And at the end of the day, all laundry owners are in business to make money. They're not a not for profit, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm sure every situation's a little bit different. But have you ever run into, a time where you found the perfect location, everything looked like it was lining up, and then maybe you missed something, or there was a hidden red flag that you didn't catch? Like, do you have a real world example of when that's happened?
Yeah, we had a store that we were building probably about 4 years ago, and we were 90% through the whole process of getting permits, and we found out it was built on a tension slab. We had the customer had plans drawn up, and for those who don't know what a tension slab is, it looked like it was a solid 8 to 10 inches of concrete, but it had tension rods running from corner to corner. So if we would have drilled in, we could have broke the tension slab and essentially ruined the building and the other retailers that were in that building. So we missed it. It was something that was hidden. We didn't take an installer out there and take a sample of the floor. You know, part of a laundry that we put in had a basement in the back. It was in a crawl space. We didn't get all that way back, but the back third of the laundry had so it's the little things that people get in a hurry sometimes and they miss. And we were fortunate enough that the crawl space one we could do something with. The tension slab one we couldn't. We had to move on. We had to find a new location for a customer who had a couple $100,000 already into the project.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a benefit of experience. You're going to make mistakes, but you learn from them. And, you know, in today's day and age, information is everywhere. You can go on ChatGPT, Google, podcasts, TikTok. Operators are doing more of their own research. How do you differentiate the research and development and market that Alliance has versus an operator going out and doing it themselves?
Yeah, I mean, there is you look, people asked me here yesterday, attendance is down, the registrations are down compared to prior years. And they asked and I said, well, the internet has a lot of things, right? But the internet doesn't have local distribution who knows the market. You can find out a million things about any business on a website, on the internet, uh, any social, but there is that local knowledge and that expertise that is so important to the success of for Alliance, right? And so for us to be where we're at and position where we are, it's a necessity that we partner with the right distributors who have a high standard, a track record of doing the right thing for the end user, which then translates over to our success rate and profitable laundry owners in good positions.
Absolutely. And I know we've talked a lot about what makes up a good location, which demographics you're looking at. Are there any like new trends that you're starting to notice or new technologies that you guys are leveraging or see coming out that impact what you might consider a good location? Or is it, been pretty steady over the years? What's been a good location? Has been a good location, or do you see new trends that are changing that at all?
I, you know, the reality is I don't think uh, the trends determine the location as far as, neighborhood might have been great 20 years ago. It isn't so great today. I don't think that we're creating anything new that helps with locations. Our focus is on having more profitable laundry owners. How can we reduce their labor cost? How can we create new products that bring in new revenue? Uh, what are we doing that allows us to partner with you guys? So as far as finding locations and that thing goes, no, there's really not much that we're doing on our side to do that, except for continuing to focus on um, do we have the right person representing our products in all the markets so that they're finding the right locations and doing the right thing for the laundry owners, for the investor.
Absolutely, and I think based off this conversation, we know, when a new investor is getting into the industry, finding a good distributor is table stakes. You need to do that. But for anyone here looking to open up their first laundromat outside of that local distributor partner, what would be your one piece of advice to them?
Yeah, there's a lot of information on the internet, like you said. Do your homework. Like, don't rush into anything. The number one thing that I would do if I were building a laundry today is I'd take my time. I would spend 90 days learning the industry. I'd attend this. I'd attend the wash dry fold. I'd look for a local distributor that has maybe a show, a service school. There's a lot of great folks in this business who do coaching. There's a lot of great folks in this business that do shows and events. Just learn as much as you can. Be a vacuum for information.
Absolutely. And as someone who goes to 50 plus distributor shows a year across the country, if you have an opportunity, go. You're going to meet other owners. If you know they're happy to share their ideas, what has made them successful. So couldn't recommend those more as well. But Mike, I appreciate your time. Appreciate all the insight from your experience. So I don't know if you have any last words or if we want to open up to questions. But thanks for spending time with us.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me. And no, we can open up for questions if there's questions.
Dumbest question ever. I don't even know what a local distributor is. Can you break that down for somebody who is brand new to all of this?
So I'll speak from, so the distributor is the person that's usually selling the product, installing the product, uh, you know, and I'll speak from Alliance.
Mike, just for the people who didn't hear, um, she's just asking like, what is a local distributor? New to the industry, unfamiliar with the concept, so just giving some background on that.
Yeah, so they're the so Alliance makes the sausage. They're the person that distributes the sausage and puts it in the market, right? So they'll help you find site locations. They'll service equipment when you need it. They'll sell you parts. They're your educator when it comes to everything laundry. But they're the ones that represent us and other manufacturers as our local experts.
Wash and core situation. One price is a break even, very people that say or charge customers.
Yeah.
Dollar price.
So I think the question was if you're doing wash and fold, how do you establish kind of that minimum price point to get you to break even, and then how do you look at increasing that to increase your profits?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I'm honestly not a an expert on wash and fold. I could tell you what that there's a lot of people probably in this booth that are experts at it, but I would say that you have to find out yet what's your utility costs, what's your labor, what's the percentage of uh, revenue that it's going to take for you to employ those people, buy supplies, and then that'll help you set your price to get it where it's at. You look at wash, dry, fold pricing all across the country. It's just as different as the markets are, right? It's basically, hey, what's your cost? What do you want your margin to be? And that'll basically determine your price.
Yeah, and I would add to that, like Mike said, find someone at a blue polo like this, have them walk you through our process, what they've done with hundreds of operators, thousands even, and really lean on our team for that insight as well. Go ahead. So the question is in a high income market where they have multiple kids and time is really valuable to them, how do you position yourself as a laundromat to be appealing to them? Obviously, I think the wash, dry, fold, pickup, and delivery is a big part of that. They're probably less sensitive to that increased price if it's going to give them their time back. So that's where I think you want to there's a bit and there's the term whiff and what's in it for me, like why should they have their clothes picked up? Time is going to be a huge aspect of that, so that I think you want to understand where do you create convenience, whether it's the pickup and delivery, whether it's leveraging technology that tells them when their cycles are done, how much time is left, giving them that visibility to where they can go and do something and still get their laundry done in a timely manner.
Yeah, I think the demographics it'll tell you the average income of the neighborhood. That'll dictate the size of the store. If you got a high income, maybe you do a 2,000 square foot store that offers pickup and delivery, offers wash, dry, fold. There's, as we talked about earlier, and you just said, there are the convenience factor. Your time's valuable. So you would build your business, in my opinion, differently in those areas than you would in another area when we have a lower income with a bigger store, more self-service, because they may be okay with using their own money or using their money and doing the laundry themselves versus their time may not be as valuable to them as as somebody in a higher net worth area.
Awesome. I think we're right at time. So definitely appreciate the time, Mike. We'll be around here. Go visit the Alliance booth as well if you have more questions. But thank you guys for showing up, and looking forward to catching up later.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.